Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto Two Blue Vortex discussion. Today I want to talk to you guys about something that stood out the end of the last manga chapter, which is Boruto and Kawaki are now standing face to face for the first time since the ending events of the Omnipotence arc, where Boruto and Kawaki had their lives switched by Ada's Shinjutsu, where everyone believes that Boruto is the outsider who killed Naruto and Kawaki is the firstborn son of Naruto. This has led to a lot of fans wondering if maybe this will lead us to the fated battle of Boruto versus Kawaki that we saw in the flash forward sequence. However, I don't think the story has grinded enough to reach that point, because a battle with Boruto versus Kawaki, because of how long it's been built up and how big the impact is, you have to actually grind it out in order to reach that level of payoff. That level of payoff requires the level of grinding that you would get if you played Albion Online, the sponsor of today's video. This video is going to be brought to you by Albion Online, the perfect free-to-play cross-platform MMORPG that is sure to excite fans of hardcore PvE and PvP combat. It's set in open-world medieval fantasy with a player-driven economy where nearly every item is player-crafted, so you are what you wear definitely applies here. You can combine armor pieces and weapons to fit your playing style, making a truly personalized experience. Explore the world by taking on other adventurers in battle, conquer territories, and build a home in the process. The PvP fighting is nothing short of intense, which is going to require you to gear up and use teamwork to defeat your enemy. As you establish territory, your guild collects siphon energy and other resources, which makes expanding your empire all the more fun, especially when you collect the rare and prized items and resources needed to build amazing cities and create overpowered weapons as well. Best of all, monster hunting isn't just a hobby. They can provide you with the resources you need to make weapons and helpful items. Hone your character skills by making new weapons and items as easily as you switch gear and progress through the RPG style skill tree of the Destiny board. If you're tired of fighting, you can retire to your own private island to live your best life, farming crops and animals while providing food for your guild's war efforts in the process. Or if you want to generate your own profits, you're free to do so. The same is true if you wish to trade items and resources with other players. Starting October 16th, Albion Online's next update is the Wild Blood, and it will be released, which gives players the chance to tap into primal magic and access to shapeshifter weapons, which allow you to switch between human and non-human, allowing you to wreak havoc on the battlefield. The open world setting just got more fun with the new tracking feature, which allows you to hunt down creatures for rewards. Don't hesitate, download Albion Online today using my link below. I think we're really being misled into believing that Boruto versus Kawaki is going to happen in the next chapter because of how hot-headed Kawaki appears to be when it comes to Boruto in particular right now. More than once in the last chapter, Boruto took the stance of telling Kawaki, hey, chill out, bro. Chill out on the bloodlust. Leave me alone for a little bit. I have something more important to deal with than you right now. But due to how bloodlust and locked in on Boruto that Kawaki was, he missed that warning that Boruto was trying to give him. And this brings me to the reason why I believe we have to ask ourselves why Boruto hasn't told Kawaki what his plans are just yet. It's something that immediately stuck out to me when I was reading the chapter, and you can tell it was intentional. Boruto never told anyone, hey, I'm trying to deal with the Ten Tails right now. You know, that thing that can destroy the entire planet. If you think that these claw grinds that Code is using are bad, just wait until the whole Ten Tails is able to do the same thing on a larger level, especially if myself or Kawaki's eaten by it before it can go on its rampage. Logically speaking, it's a sound enough of an argument that even someone like Shikamaru would be very quick to put a brief pause on killing Boruto, because the threat the Ten Tails poses is a global threat, whereas in their minds Boruto is more of a threat to the Hidden Leaf Village itself and not so much the greater world itself. It's the expression that's existed for hundreds of years, and it will continue to exist for hundreds of years after this, which is doing things for the greater good or fighting against a common enemy. The idea of a temporary ceasefire to deal with the Ten Tails is something that Shikamaru would be open to considering, in my opinion. So why exactly did Boruto never say anything when he was being asked what he was doing? All he said is like, hey, we're in the middle of negotiating. I think that this was intentional, and there's a reason why Boruto never said anything to Kawaki in particular, even after it was just the two of them and everyone else was gone. The easy answer is possibly the likely answer, which is that Boruto just reveals this information next chapter. But given what we've seen before with Boruto's character, when he sees glimpses of the future, because his consciousness and Momoshiki's consciousness are bleeding over together where their thoughts intertwine at some point, and when Momoshiki is able to see glimpses of the future, so too does Boruto. It makes me wonder if Boruto saw something in the future that makes him want to prevent Kawaki from coming into contact with the Ten Tails. I don't think this is too big of a stretch to bring up, so allow me to explain what I mean. Throughout Boruto Naruto Next Generations Part 1, more than once there were hints of Kawaki's fate, resulting in him being fed to the Ten Tails. A classic example being Momoshiki telling Kawaki that he will continue to allow himself to be used by others and eventually fed to a Ten Tails because of the decisions that Kawaki was making. After we saw that Momoshiki was able to see Naruto's future of losing Kurama, one has to wonder if Momoshiki didn't see a future where Kawaki was fed to the Ten Tails as well. But due to what we've seen with that future sight Shinjutsu and how it operates, he won't be able to see the context surrounding the snapshots of what he saw. And as we saw at the end of Boruto Naruto Next Generations, the future isn't set in stone for how he sees things, because when he told Boruto those blue eyes, i.e. Ada's eyes, would take everything away from him, Momoshiki saw a future where he would be the one controlling Boruto's body. Boruto, on the other hand, never fell into despair. So the future is always changing, and that's a very popular literature trope when you start dealing with people who have these powers. They can't see their own future, and most importantly, the future is never set in stone. It's always changing because of the whole concept of the butterfly effect. Are we in a situation where Boruto has potentially seen something in the future with Kawaki during his time away from Konoha? There's a lot we don't know as to why Boruto was on his way to the village on this exact day at the exact same time as Kawaki. That's a hell of a coincidence. If he happened to know the time and the day and was coming to thwart Code from destroying the village, that means Boruto is very coincidental if that's the case. I mean, it is a shonen, and we've seen a lot worse in shonen before now when it comes to stuff like this, but I do think there might be something else, this whole situation with Boruto, that we're seeing that actually hasn't been discussed yet in universe. It actually behooves Boruto to approach Kawaki with a plan to destroy the Ten Tails together. If they were fighting right there in the middle of the village, the only thing that does is it results in massive damage to the village that Boruto wants to protect. Even though Boruto as a series doesn't focus on destructive capability in that manner, especially to the degree that we saw with Naruto's manga, particularly once we got to the back half of the manga where someone like Pain, with a grand show of force, was able to destroy the village in one attack, or Madara was able to destroy an entire mountain range with the swing of a sword. Fights right now in Boruto, they focus more so on attack potency, not so much on destructive capability. But with these two, just due to how the power of their jutsu that they're going to be throwing around and the fact that both of them appear to know how to fly, there's a possibility for there to be a massive scale of damage whenever they fight if it happens inside the village. Is Boruto under that scenario of wanting to move the village away from the fight itself? Basically tell Kawaki we're going somewhere else. His own father Naruto did something similar when Ishiki began destroying parts of the village during their fight, most famously when Naruto got knocked through several dozens of buildings with one single attack, and Naruto's like, oh my god, we're going to destroy the village at this point. It's possible that if these two end up coming to blows because Kawaki can't get out of his own head, that we end up with a scenario where Boruto tells Kawaki his plan to destroy the Ten Tails and then solve his problems with Kawaki after that, either leading to Kawaki agreeing to help, or we see Boruto go off on his own. It just strikes me as odd that Boruto chose this specific day to return to the village and is being indirect about his intentions, unless he either 1, is trying to keep Kawaki away from the Ten Tails, or 2, he's that confident in himself to be able to handle Code alone and destroy the Ten Tails. Boruto is a lot of things, but he's not an idiot, and as we saw in the chapter with the way that he was able to push Code's buttons and walk him into the trap that he set with the Rasengan Uzuhiko, and then the second trap hidden behind the trap where he had that Toad Scout that was placed onto Code so he can confirm the location of the Ten Tails, he wouldn't put himself in this position if he didn't think he could handle that threat alone. But he's also smart enough to not leave himself vulnerable if things go sideways, because if there's some unforeseen event he could be fed to the Ten Tails, and that would be a game over. The same if he and Kawaki teamed up and one of them ended up falling into the Ten Tails' mouth. You just never know. There are certain things that you have to take into consideration. You would think there would be incentive to bring Kawaki unless Boruto has someone like Sasuke on standby as part of a larger plan, which if that's the case, it both simultaneously makes Code look like an even bigger moron because he's walking to the beat of Boruto's drum while also making Boruto look super big brain for how he was able to plan this far in advance to take down Code and take down the Ten Tails at once. Rereading this chapter, it really left me conflicted on this, which is why I wanted to bring it out here to the larger community and see what you guys think Boruto is hiding in terms of his motivations from keeping it from Konoha and Kawaki. Do you think there was something larger for why Boruto's not telling the truth here, or do you think it's just as simple as Boruto might not have told them because he didn't think that the people of Konoha would believe him? But why exactly to keep that information from Kawaki? Now, it could just be that Boruto tells Kawaki what's going on in the next chapter. That's very likely since Boruto making a hand seal would make Kawaki pause, and seeing Boruto talking to a toad would definitely raise an eyebrow. But with how things are shaped up and how fast the story's moving, I am wondering if this is going to be the case. So I want to pick you guys' brain down in the comment section because you guys oftentimes raise really good points down in the comment section. If you haven't already, make sure to check out my Jujutsu Kaisen chapter review, and don't forget to support the channel by downloading I'll Be On Online, because their sponsorship is really going to help raise the quality of the content for the channel by paying for some of the big videos that I have coming that are being edited right now, like the 2 Tobirama Senju videos and the 2-hour Boruto video that is coming, that I literally have the best editor who has worked with this channel working on that video. That one is gonna slap. You're gonna want your popcorn for that one because that is a very, very long scripted video that you guys are really gonna enjoy. So please use my link down below to download I'll Be On Online.